Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being genuinely well-informed, where we take a stack of sources and extract the most important nuggets of knowledge. Today, we're diving headfirst into a question that sits really at the very core of every enterprise, big or small. What truly propels a company to lasting greatness? Is it the captivating story spun to the world by marketing, the narrative?
Right.
Or is it the meticulous, disciplined execution orchestrated behind the scenes by management? This isn't just some theoretical debate. It's a constant, living tension playing out in boardrooms and marketplaces worldwide.
Indeed. And we're embarking on, I think, a fascinating exploration into the true locus of corporate power. We're asking who ultimately wields greater long-term influence on a company's trajectory and success.
Yeah.
The master storytellers in marketing or the vigilant, detail-oriented operators in management.
Yeah.
It's a debate with, well, profound implications for how we build, invest in, and even understand organizations.
That's right. Because when you look at the landscape of modern business, one perspective, deeply rooted in the pioneering work of thinkers like Ries and Trout, argues that the battle for the mind of the customer is paramount.
The positioning idea?
Exactly, positioning. They contend that a powerful, well-defined brand and a clear marketing message aren't just important, they are the ultimate competitive advantages in an increasingly crowded and noisy world. It's all about winning that mental real estate.
And we have the counter-argument. Championed by management gurus such as Peter Drucker and the Effective Executive, this perspective posits that all the marketing wizardry in the world is, in essence, kind of meaningless without a robust foundation of operational excellence.
Right, the substance behind the style.
Precisely. They firmly believe that true sustainable success isn't built on clever slogans or captivating narratives alone, but rather on the quiet, often unglamorous, disciplined work of effective management ensuring quality, efficiency, and crucially consistent delivery.
So as we unravel these compelling arguments, examining them through the lens of numerous experts and real-world examples, we invite you, the listener, to weigh the evidence. Consider for yourself, where do you think the true, enduring power lies in shaping a company's destiny?
And why does that distinction matter so profoundly?
Why does it matter for building an organization that not only thrives today, but endures for decades to come?
Okay, let's unpack this. So let's kick things off by making the case for marketing, for the sheer, undeniable power of the narrative. In a world absolutely saturated with choices, where every product and service seems to be screaming for attention, the perception shaped in the customer's mind isn't just a factor. It truly is the ultimate battleground.
It really is.
It's the story, the emotional connection the brand fosters, and the clarity of its messaging that become the primary decisive drivers of competitive advantage. And this is a fundamental shift from just, having a better product. As Ries and Trout brilliantly articulated with positioning, success isn't merely about creating a superior widget in a vacuum. It's about winning a unique, differentiated position, a specific piece of mental real estate in the customer's mind.
Mental real estate. I like that.
The market isn't just a physical space where goods are exchanged. It's a mental arena where perceptions are formed, solidified, and defended. If you don't own a distinct position, you're just another voice in the crowd, no matter how good your product might be objectively.
And this idea of winning mental real estate extends powerfully into what's known as value innovation, which is, a cornerstone of Blue Ocean strategy. This isn't about the traditional competitive grind where you're constantly trying to incrementally improve an existing product to beat a rival. No, this is about making the competition entirely irrelevant.
Kind of sidestepping them.
Exactly. It's about creating a leap in value for buyers, and in doing so, opening up entirely new, uncontested market spaces, often referred to as blue oceans. And to me, that's inherently a marketing-driven triumph, a masterful act of crafting a new narrative for what's even possible in a given industry.
It absolutely is. I mean, consider the classic examples. Nintendo with the Wii. They didn't try to outmuscle Sony's PlayStation or Microsoft's Xbox on raw graphical power or processing speed.
Not at all.
They deliberately chose a different path, focusing on intuitive, family-friendly motion controls that redefined what a home console could be. They crafted a whole new narrative, gaming for everyone, not just the hardcore players.
Right, much broader appeal.
This leap in value wasn't about incremental improvement. It was about reimagining the experience, creating a market space that didn't previously exist in that form. Similarly, Chrysler didn't just make a better station wagon, they created the minivan, fundamentally altering how people thought about family transportation.
Totally changed the game.
These weren't just product innovations. They were powerful narrative shifts that resonated with millions.
And a crucial part of successfully launching such a new narrative involves strategic pricing and mass appeal. It's vital, apparently, to know from the start what price will quickly capture the mass of target buyers.
Getting that right is key.
It is. This is a sophisticated marketing calculation, far beyond simple cost-plus pricing. It's about understanding market elasticity, perceived value, and the psychological sweet spot that makes an offering accessible and desirable to the mainstream, not just the early adopters or the premium segment. Get this wrong. And even a brilliant value innovation can just flounder.
Yeah, he can fall flat. And that requires not only deep market understanding, but also the foresight to communicate that value proposition effectively.
Initially, marketing battles might indeed focus on the generic product itself, its features, basic utility.
The core function. Right. But as markets mature and products inevitably become more alike, the battle shifts dramatically to what are called the outer circles. This refers to the complete solution, encompassing everything from perceived value, the quality of customer support, the overall brand experience, to the surrounding ecosystem of related products and services.
The whole package.
Exactly. The narrative woven around this entire holistic experience becomes paramount for differentiation in a crowded, mature market.
This is where it gets really interesting and, frankly, quite cautionary. The peril of a poor narrative. We've all heard stories of branding gone spectacularly wrong, but the tale of the Edsel, Ford's infamous car from the late 1950s, remains a masterclass in how a flawed brand narrative can sink a product.
Oh, the Edsel.
The name itself, Edsel, with its unfortunate auditory associations like pretzel, diesel, hard sell, immediately conjured negative images for potential buyers.
Just didn't sound good.
It didn't. And it didn't matter how much Ford invested in the car's engineering, how innovative its features were, or how robust its production chain. The fatally flawed narrative around its name undermined everything, leading to a commercial disaster. It just underscores that perception can, and often does, trump reality in the marketplace.
It's a stark reminder that marketing isn't just about selling. It's about shaping reality itself, at least in the customer's mind. And the influence of marketing extends even more subtly through what we now refer to as nudges and social persuasion.
Oh, the nudges.
This involves the deliberate use of choice architecture. Think about how grocery stores put the fruit at eye level to subtly encourage healthier choices. These aren't overt advertisements, they're environmental designs.
It's very subtle.
It reflects how economies of action are intentionally designed to persuade us to follow one another along prescribed courses, often creating foreclosed alternatives that shape our choices without us even realizing the extent of the manipulation. It's a silent, almost invisible hand guiding our decisions.
It's truly a testament to the pervasive, often unconscious power of marketing. And this brings us to an evolution in marketing itself. The shift from costly, often annoying interruption marketing, cold calls or unsolicited pop-up ads.
Things nobody likes.
Right. To building learning relationships through permission marketing. This involves a fundamentally different approach, earning the right to deliver anticipated, personal, relevant messages. By focusing on relevance and respect, companies can turn strangers into friends and friends into customers, building deep, enduring loyalty and trust over time.
It's a much more sustainable model.
Definitely. Built on dialogue rather than intrusion.
Absolutely. It's about building equity and trust rather than just chasing transactions. Furthermore, marketing isn't just about products. It can be deployed to control public opinion on a much grander societal scale. We see high-profile historical examples like Mobil and ARMCO using sophisticated corporate advertising campaigns not to sell a product, but to simplify complex public issues, think environmental concerns or regulatory debates, and subtly address public anxieties.
Shaping the whole conversation.
Exactly. This demonstrates the intentional, strategic use of narrative to influence public perception and dialogue, effectively shaping the conversation around an entire industry or corporate practice. It shows the power of narrative to shape political and social landscapes, not just consumer choices. Now, let's shift gears completely and delve into the foundation of excellence, the stance of management. This perspective firmly argues that all the marketing buzz, all the captivating narratives we just discussed, are ultimately fleeting if they're not supported by a robust, resilient operational foundation.
Okay.
True, sustainable success, this view contends, is built not on clever slogans alone, but on the quiet, rigorous, disciplined work of effective management, which ensures consistent quality, efficiency, and reliable delivery.
So if marketing is about the promise, management is about the delivery. Peter Drucker, in his seminal work, The Effective Executive, fundamentally emphasizes that the primary role of management isn't just activity, it's results.
Getting things done.
Getting the right things done. This means a relentless focus on getting the right things done, identifying what genuinely moves the needle for the organization, and ensuring the business consistently produces the needed minimum profit through disciplined market standing, continuous innovation, and unwavering productivity. It's about moving beyond gut feelings and into systematic, measurable outcomes.
Precisely. It's about systematic execution and a rigorous commitment to efficiency. A critical management task Drucker highlights is ruthless efficiency, the imperative to identify and eliminate the things that need not be done at all.
Cutting the fat.
Absolutely. This involves asking tough, fundamental questions like, what would happen if this were not done at all? This seemingly simple inquiry can uncover layers of ingrained, purely wasteful activities, and systematically trimming these purely waste-of-time activities is absolutely fundamental to maintaining operational health and optimizing productivity. It's about doing more with less, smartly.
And this deep-seated operational excellence can, in itself, become a powerful, almost unassailable competitive advantage, a strategic moat that protects a company. Take Walmart, for example, under Sam Walton. They didn't just have low prices, they strategically viewed distribution and transportation as their core competitive advantage.
Logistics was key for them.
It was everything. They poured significant capital investment into building an incredibly efficient logistics network because it demonstrably lowered costs throughout their entire supply chain. This showcases that deep operational strength, the ability to execute consistently and efficiently behind the scenes, can be a far more enduring source of advantage than just external perception or clever advertising.
That's a perfect illustration of how sustained internal strength translates into market dominance. Furthermore, as companies mature and expand, they face what's often termed the black art of scaling a human organization.
Right. Managing growth.
This isn't about marketing a larger vision. It's a profound management discipline involving the intricate design and implementation of processes, structures, and a cohesive culture. Without this internal scaffolding, even the most brilliant marketing concept, the most innovative product, can and often does flounder under the weight of its own growth. It's about ensuring the complex machinery of the organization runs smoothly and sustainably as it expands.
And crucially, it's not about the CEO being the expert at everything. Guy Kawasaki, a Silicon Valley veteran, stresses that if a CEO is a better salesperson than the vice president of sales, a better marketing person than the vice president of marketing, it inevitably guarantees mediocrity across the organization.
You need specialists.
You do. The true management art lies in hiring and empowering A and A-plus players in their specific functions, trusting them to excel. This delegation and empowerment are crucial for maintaining quality, fostering innovation, and avoiding internal bottlenecks that can stifle even the best product.
That's a critical management function, building and trusting a capable team. Consider the audacious decision made by Darwin Smith at Kimberly-Clark. This wasn't a marketing campaign. It was a profound strategic and operational redirection.
A massive shift.
Smith made the gutsy move to sell off the company's traditional paper mills, its core business for decades, and throw all the proceeds into the consumer business, making massive investments in brands like Huggies and Kleenex. This wasn't about a new slogan. It was a fundamental, large-scale operational and strategic transformation, executed with remarkable, calm equanimity over 20 years. This management decision completely reshaped the company's identity and future.
Wow, that takes nerve. And for a more contemporary, perhaps even more intense example of operational involvement, look at Elon Musk, his ultra-involved self, and his infamous critical path shit list for anyone holding back launches at SpaceX.
He's very hands-on.
Or his direct insistence on specific design changes for the Tesla Roadster, despite engineering concerns, are legendary. This isn't just about vision. It showcases a leader deeply, sometimes controversially, embedded in the granular operational details to achieve a product vision. While it might sometimes sacrifice immediate efficiency for aggressive product development, it illustrates an unwavering management commitment to the execution of the vision.
He certainly represents a very hands-on, detail-oriented management style, particularly in high-stakes, rapidly evolving environments. Drucker also emphasizes that truly effective decision-makers in management don't just seek consensus. They actively organize disagreement.
Interesting. Not avoid it.
No, organize it. This isn't about fostering conflict for its own sake, but about preventing leaders from being taken in by the plausible but false or incomplete, and to force the imagination by deeply understanding why people hold dissenting viewpoints. This disciplined internal process of confronting differing perspectives leads to far more robust, thoroughly considered, and ultimately more executable decisions, a hallmark of effective management.
So healthy debate leads to better outcomes. Makes sense. Now, let's delve deeper into how these two formidable forces, marketing and management, interplay in shaping perceived value, attracting and retaining customers, and ultimately ensuring a company's longevity. We'll start by looking at this through marketing's powerful lens, particularly its ability to shape customer perceptions and drive demand, often leveraging profound psychological and social factors for market capture.
Right. This is where marketing really shines, influencing the external environment and often creating value where none might have inherently existed, or at least making it tangible.
Exactly. Take network economies, for instance. This fascinating phenomenon describes how a product's value to an individual customer dramatically increases with more users. We've seen this with classic examples like IBM mainframes, where more users meant more software and support.
The ecosystem effect.
Operating systems for Microsoft, where network effects fueled widespread adoption. Even Steinway pianos, whose value is amplified by their presence in concert halls and the number of master musicians who play them, and modern exchange-traded funds, which gain liquidity and acceptance with scale. LinkedIn's HR Solutions suite is a prime current example. Its value, and consequently its pricing power, directly correlates with its ever-growing user base.
The more people in LinkedIn, the more valuable it is for recruiters.
Precisely. Marketing plays an absolutely crucial role in kickstarting this initial user growth and then sustaining it, telling the story that attracts critical mass.
That's a perfect illustration of how marketing doesn't just communicate value. It can create and amplify value through ecosystem growth and user adoption. Another intriguing concept that highlights the power of market narratives over intrinsic value, at least in the short term, is the greater fool theory.
Ah, yes, the greater fool.
This theory explains how the price of an asset can be driven by mass psychology, not by its underlying intrinsic value, but by the belief that later on you can find some innocent to pay 5 times what it's worth, even if it's initially overpriced.
Like bubbles.
Exactly. Think of the Dutch tulip mania in the 17th century, where single tulip bulbs traded for more than houses, or indeed segments of the dot-com bubble. This vividly illustrates how market narratives and collective sentiment, even if detached from fundamentals, can sometimes dominate perceived value.
No. So a sufficiently compelling or even speculative narrative can, at times, completely override underlying operational fundamentals. But marketing also focuses on building something far more sustainable: long-term customer relationships through dialogue.
The permission marketing idea again.
Right. Through mass customization and one-to-one marketing, companies can foster incredibly valuable learning relationships by consistently eliciting information from each customer about his or her specific needs and preferences. This isn't a one-off sale, it's an ongoing dialogue, often facilitated by interactive technologies, which demonstrably increases customer lifetime value
TLV.
through increased purchases, reduced operating costs due to better targeting, valuable referrals, and the ability to command price premiums. It's about deep, sustained engagement.
That's a truly sophisticated, sustained form of narrative, building a genuine dialogue rather than a monologue. And on the idea of blue oceans, it challenges the common misperception that to create blue oceans, you must venture beyond your core business.
You don't always have to go way out there.
Right. In reality, blue oceans can often be created smack in the middle of an organization's existing core businesses. Apple's iMac, for example, revitalized a struggling computer market, or Philips Alto created a new lighting category. This speaks to a deeply ingrained marketing mindset that can reframe existing markets and create entirely new demand through compelling propositions, often without needing a completely new operational structure. Rather, it's about marketing vision applied to existing capabilities.
That's a powerful point about reimagining and repackaging what you already do, essentially creating a new narrative around existing strengths. And what about the long tail phenomenon? This concept, often associated with digital economies, suggests that the long tail could fundamentally free us from the dominant political parties, from the academic system, from the clusters of the press, anything that is currently in the hands of ossified, conceited, and self-serving authority.
Wow, that's a big claim.
It is. This suggests that marketing, by empowering niche narratives and fostering cognitive diversity through easily accessible platforms, can profoundly alter how value and information are perceived and distributed, leading to new winners who might not be the most operationally dominant, but rather the most resonant with specific underserved audiences.
Indeed. It's about the democratization of information and value, which digital marketing platforms can facilitate by giving voice to incredibly diverse narratives. However, from management's lens, the focus shifts entirely to delivering and sustaining intrinsic value.
Back to the core substance.
Exactly. Management's paramount role is to ensure that whatever is marketed, whatever narrative is spun, can actually be delivered consistently, profitably, and at scale. This builds a resilient organization, one that can not only meet market expectations, but also weather inevitable market fluctuations, which can often be driven by those very external narratives.
That sounds like a stark contrast to the greater fool theory we just discussed. Howard Marks, the reviewed investor, for example, profoundly emphasizes that fundamentally derived intrinsic value is the essential foundation for steady, unemotional, and potentially profitable investing.
He's all about the fundamentals.
He argues forcefully that an accurate opinion on valuation, loosely held, is far less helpful than a strongly held conviction in a company's true underlying worth. This raises an important question. If intrinsic value is the bedrock, how exactly do you establish and measure that true worth without getting swept up in market hype?
Well, you establish it through solid operations, disciplined financial management, and a keen understanding of the real assets, cash flows, and sustainable competitive advantages, not just transient market sentiment. This directly leads to the concept of the margin of safety, a critical element in defensive investing, originally coined by Benjamin Graham and famously championed by Warren Buffett.
Graham and Doddsville.
Right. It refers to the management discipline of buying assets, or building companies, for significantly less than their intrinsic value. It's a crucial management strategy to protect against unforeseen challenges, against incorrect opinions on valuation, and against the inevitable ups and downs of the market. It's a proactive, fundamental way to build resilience into the very core of an organization.
So it's about building in a robust buffer against market whims, which, as we've noted, can often be driven by captivating but potentially fragile narratives. And this ties directly into the concept of staying power and long-term investment. Marx himself would argue that your actual risk in stock and bond investing depends on the length of time you hold your investment.
Time horizon matters.
Hugely. This speaks directly to the management discipline of having the staying power and the fortitude to remain with a sound investment program, understanding that short-term market noise, often fueled by speculative narratives and emotional swings, can ultimately be overcome by underlying long-term operational soundness and consistent delivery.
It's about building a company that can endure and deliver value consistently, far beyond fleeting fads. Consider the profound consequences of operational miscalculation, even for a market leader. Alfred P. Sloan Jr. noted General Motors' precarious situation back in 1924, where they faced a larger number of unsold cars in the hands of dealers due to sheer overproduction.
Too much inventory.
Exactly, despite improving sales figures. It highlights how a lack of timely data, a significant time lag in understanding market demand and production capacity, coupled with operational misjudgment, can lead to massive problems: overstocking, discounting, brand damage, even when a company seemingly has a strong market presence and presumably effective marketing for its new models. The internal reality undermined the external perception.
That's a powerful lesson in how even robust sales can be completely undermined by internal inefficiencies or misjudgments in production and inventory. The remarkable efficiency of Costco's business model, championed by its co-founder Jim Sinegal, further underscores this management-first philosophy.
Costco's a great case study.
His highly successful strategy was deceptively simple. Offer a limited number of items, rely on high-volume sales, keep costs as low as possible, and don't spend money on advertising. Sinegal famously believed you get good people and good productivity. This demonstrates unequivocally that operational efficiency, stringent cost control, and excellent employee treatment can be the primary, sustained drivers of success, often far outweighing the need for expensive marketing flair.
It's a testament to the enduring power of a rock-solid operational foundation, where every aspect of the business is meticulously managed for maximum efficiency and value delivery. And Howard Marks' adage, "You can't predict, you can prepare," perfectly encapsulates a core management approach to an inherently uncertain future.
Love that. Prepare, don't predict.
This emphasizes that managerial foresight in building resilient systems, fostering adaptability, and developing robust capabilities is infinitely more valuable than trying to accurately forecast an unpredictable future. It highlights the inherent limits of market predictions, which marketing might sometimes lean into, favoring instead the disciplined internal work of preparedness.
That's a very practical, grounded philosophy. And in terms of continuous operational improvement and responding to customer needs, agile development is a prime example of a management methodology. Here, cross-functional teams consistently deliver new product features in short, iterative cycles.
Yeah.
And then, crucially, collect feedback from customers in the form of anecdotes and interviews throughout the process. This operational framework ensures that product development isn't just a one-off launch, but a continuous, disciplined alignment with evolving customer needs. It's a clear instance where deep operational processes are constantly informing, refining, and even redefining the product experience based on real-world usage.
So the operations directly feed back into the product itself.
So let's bring it all together by exploring how leadership and culture fit into this dynamic tension and who ultimately shapes the long-term future of a company. From marketing's perspective, leaders are fundamentally master storytellers and shrewd market navigators. The argument here is that leaders who truly master the art of narrative can define their company's purpose, attract top talent, and navigate even the most turbulent markets by profoundly influencing how their organization is understood and valued, both internally and externally.
This is where the CEO, in essence, steps into the role of chief marketing officer, not just for products, but for the entire corporate entity, crafting the overarching narrative that guides its trajectory.
Absolutely. Consider the historical masterclass in public perception management by John D. Rockefeller Sr. During a period of intense scrutiny of his business practices, coached by his publicist Ivy Lee, Rockefeller deliberately eschewed such loaded terms as trust, monopoly, oligopoly, or cartel.
Careful.
Very careful. Instead, he carefully deployed the term cooperation. He even expressed scorn for the textbook world of free markets in public statements, showcasing how leaders can actively and intentionally manage their company's public face, shaping perception and dialogue over decades, regardless of the underlying competitive reality.
That's a foundational example of a leader proactively shaping the external narrative, a deliberate act of public relations that sought to redefine the very terms of the debate. On a more product-centric front, Steve Jobs famously demonstrated a clarity of product vision that propelled a company into the future.
He certainly did.
Think of the iPod. It wasn't just a portable music player. It was a seamless integration of both the hardware and the software, creating an elegant, intuitive experience that resonated deeply with users and completely reshaped an entire industry. This vision was inherently marketable, created its own demand, and stemmed directly from Jobs' almost singular focus on the user experience and its narrative.
It wasn't just a product, it was a statement that captured imaginations. And Apple's marketing genius was evident again in their ability to take the Xerox GUI, the graphical user interface, a groundbreaking technology that Xerox itself didn't fully exploit, and transform it into the computer for the rest of us with the Macintosh.
They saw the potential Xerox missed.
Completely. This was a masterclass in market expansion, achieved through brilliant product definition and an incredibly powerful, inclusive narrative that made a complex, intimidating technology accessible and desirable to the mainstream, rather than just engineers or hobbyists. It opened up a whole new world of users.
That's an excellent example of identifying latent market potential and then crafting a compelling, accessible story around it. Daniel Goleman's view on social skill in leaders further emphasizes this marketing-adjacent dimension. He defines it as friendliness with a purpose, moving people in the direction you desire, whether that's for rallying support for a new marketing strategy or inspiring enthusiasm about a new product.
Purposeful friendliness, I like that.
This highlights the interpersonal, persuasive dimension of leadership that directly impacts marketing outcomes. Leaders use their emotional intelligence and social capital to effectively sell their vision, both internally to their teams and externally to the market.
And as we look to the future, the rise of what Shoshana Zuboff terms surveillance capitalism brings this narrative control to, well, an extreme. This isn't just about targeted advertising. It's the deliberate design of social persuasion and economies of action through pervasive data collection, personalization algorithms, and predictive analytics to guide user behavior on a massive, almost invisible scale.
It's quite chilling, really.
It is. This creates an incredibly powerful, pervasive narrative where alternatives become ever more difficult to identify, showing how deeply entrenched systems can control not just choices, but perceptions of reality itself. It's narrative control on a systemic, unprecedented level.
It highlights a new and profound frontier of narrative influence that goes far beyond traditional advertising, venturing into shaping human experience itself. However, from management's perspective, the ultimate responsibility of leadership lies in building truly resilient organizations.
Purpose of resilience.
Always. Leaders are fundamentally responsible for meticulously constructing robust internal structures, fostering a capable and adaptable culture, and enabling the operational agility required to consistently deliver on any promise made, regardless of the external narrative. This ensures a company can stand the test of time and volatility.
So it's about building an internal strength that allows a company to weather any storm, any shift in market narrative. Procter & Gamble's enduring success, for instance, isn't just derived from clever ads or memorable slogans. It's built on a formidable suite of core capabilities. Things like global scale in purchasing and distribution, and highly integrated global business services, GBS.
The machine behind the brands.
Exactly. These deeply embedded capabilities are meticulously managed, supporting and reinforcing one another to generate a true competitive advantage over the long term. It's the invisible machinery, the operational excellence that consistently delivers on the brand's promises and maintains its market leadership.
That's a perfect example of how foundational operational strengths, carefully nurtured and managed, create sustained competitive advantage that others find incredibly difficult to replicate. Satya Nadella at Microsoft, in his visionary approach to future investment, doesn't just focus on an exciting concept, the marketing hook. No, he places equal emphasis on the capabilities necessary to succeed, the operational muscle, and critically, a culture that welcomes these new ideas and approaches, the management of human capital and organizational ethos. He sees all three as interdependent for driving innovation and achieving growth across different growth horizons, underscoring the vital intertwined balance between vision and execution.
So even a visionary leader like Nadella understands that a brilliant concept is just a concept until the capabilities and the right culture are in place to bring it to fruition. And a company like Patagonia takes its values and integrates them into every management decision.
Values-driven management.
In an organization where employees famously can't order around, decisions are instead made through consensus, a management style driven by deeply held values related to environmental crisis, product quality, and community. This management approach fosters incredibly strong internal commitment and a shared sense of purpose, ensuring operational alignment that directly supports and enhances their authentic brand narrative.
That's a testament to leadership through culture, where values become the guiding principle for all operational decisions. Stephen Covey's emphasis on personal renewal, physical, spiritual, mental, for at least 1 hour a day as the key to the development of the 7 habits might seem like an individual practice.
Seems personal, yeah.
But it highlights that even individual effectiveness, a cornerstone of overall organizational performance, is fundamentally a management discipline. Leaders who model and encourage this self-management contribute directly to the collective strength and resilience of the entire organization.
It truly does all start from within. Kim Scott's concept of radical candor in leadership is another crucial management approach. It means leaders must guide your team to achieve results and be prepared to make tough decisions. But crucially, they also build relationships based on trust and empower autonomy by letting go of some of the traditional sources of a boss's control.
Caring personally while challenging directly.
Exactly. This particular management approach is vital for fostering internal engagement, accelerating learning, and building high-performing teams, allowing operations to thrive through empowered individuals, not just top-down directives.
Empowering employees through trust and clear feedback is indeed a profound management strategy. Starbucks, for instance, famously focuses on giving its frontline employees a greater sense of authority.
The barista.
Right. This includes enabling them to redesign how espresso machines and cash registers are laid out, to improve workflow, and even deciding how customers should be greeted to enhance the personal connection. This demonstrates how empowering frontline staff through effective management directly enhances both the efficiency of operations and the quality of the customer experience. It's about translating internal culture and operational freedom into external excellence.
And in the face of rapid disruptive change, such as the ongoing fintech revolution, financial institutions must recognize that a failure to act is a bad option.
Standing still is falling behind.
Their commitment and agility will be tested constantly, requiring internal management to continually educate themselves and then react to the impact of market forces. This speaks directly to the imperative for continuous operational and strategic adaptation, regardless of how effectively their traditional services are marketed. The internal capacity to change and adapt is paramount.
That ongoing internal adaptation is a non-negotiable management imperative for long-term survival in dynamic markets. Organizations like Canon continually advance their distinctive skill levels through what's known as experimental learning and the proactive creation of new, unique organization-wide knowledge. This dynamic management of knowledge and capabilities ensures long-term distinctiveness, providing the deep, substantive core behind any story, any brand, any market position. It's about building a learning organization, a truly managed capability for continuous evolution.
We've certainly explored some incredibly compelling arguments today, making the case for both the narrative's immense power in capturing hearts and minds and management's foundational role in delivering consistent, enduring excellence. From the Edsel's ill-fated name sinking a product,
It's a cautionary tale.
to Walmart's relentless logistical prowess building an empire, from Rockefeller's carefully crafted public image influencing an era, to Patagonia's deeply values-driven consensus fostering unwavering commitment, the tension between these forces is undeniably potent and ever-present.
And as we've seen, perhaps neither truly stands alone in isolation. A brilliant marketing message, a captivating narrative, functions much like a beautiful visionary blueprint. But that blueprint, no matter how inspiring, fundamentally needs a master builder effective management to bring it to life, to execute it with precision, and to ensure its structural integrity. Contrarily, operational excellence, no matter how efficient, how lean, or how robust, needs a compelling story, a clear narrative, to find its audience, articulate its inherent value, and truly resonate in the marketplace. The two are, in many ways, inextricably linked, dancing in a complex tango of interdependence.
Absolutely. The interplay is fascinating. In our rapidly changing world, with its dizzying pace of technological innovation, its increasing cognitive diversity in how people perceive and consume information, and the constant flux of market demands, what do you think is the ultimate determinant? Is it the ability to craft and control the most persuasive, resonant narrative that dictates which companies rise and fall, which brands capture generations? Or is it the relentless, behind-the-scenes discipline of management, the quality, the efficiency, the unwavering operational integrity that makes any narrative, any product, any success truly possible and, more importantly, truly sustainable? What do you prioritize when you evaluate a company's potential for lasting impact?
It's a question that demands continuous reflection, I think, as the balance shifts with every innovation and every market change. And maybe think about how a sole focus on one, neglecting the other, might lead to significant vulnerabilities and ultimately undermine even the most promising venture in the long run.
Food for thought indeed. That's all for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.